everybody. You are at the 1 o'clock panel, Rhythm and Words, panel number 1515. If you weren't planning on being here, don't leave, and I'm happy you're joining us. If you are planning on being here, I'm excited to have you. My name is Emily Volk, and I will be the in quotes, moderator for this panel. This will be largely self-directed by these very competent and rhythmic people that we have here with us from all sorts of different mediums. I'm just going to go down the line really quickly, and I hope you're all excited. I am too. This is David Wilcox. He is a guitarist extraordinaire. Followed by Mary Reynolds Thompson, who is a poetry therapist and writer. Next, we have Allison Delphium. She's a student at University of Oregon and a music industry professional. And then we have Sam Cook, who is the co-founder of Button Poetry and a National Poetry Slam finalist. Champion! Not just a finalist, he won the whole damn thing. Okay. Then we have Ronnie Barak, who is a percussionist. He has been doing mini concerts the last weekend with a new group here in Boulder. You'll also see him at the jazz concert. And he's also a composer. He has a new CD out.
Thank you.
Followed by Joe Sexton, who is white, Irish, rhythmically challenged, and afraid to be on this panel. Next, we have two representatives. I'm very happy to be joining us. They are representatives from the CU Breaking Club here on campus. We have Jeremiah, who is a senior and is the PR director of this club. I'm so sorry, I forgot your name. And Jackson, who is the videographer for the club. They also may or may not be dancers, which you may or may not see later. So I'm going to open this up to Helen is hiding in the corner. Helen De La Rosa is also a very accomplished drummer here joining us for the jazz concert. I'm so sorry, she was hiding. Helen is from the Dominican Republic, and we're really glad to have her both on our jazz concert stage and on our panels. So I'm going to transition a little bit into this panel. So this panel is about rhythm. It's about words. It's about any combination of the two that we experience in our lives. And I find these two integrally connected. My inspiration for this panel came from something that comes from, it's a new rendition of a poetry event that Alok Media is putting on lately in Boulder at the Laughing Goat Cafe. It's called Jazzatry Nights, where they pair slam poets with percussion instrumentalists, and they just see what happens when both of them combine. And you get this interesting blurring between slam poetry, music, and even toward the rap domain. We won't be addressing that today because I'm not an expert on rap or a historian or could speak to it with any sort of credential. But we're hoping to blur the lines between these two very rhythmic but different ways of conveying meaning in art and in our daily lives and in culture. So I'm just going to open this up. It's going to be a rather open-ended and self-directed conversation between the panelists to start about how rhythm informs their work, how they embody rhythm in their work, and what this means for them, and how they transmit it to an audience, really just capitalizing on this incredible aspect of the human life that starts with a heartbeat and can be exuded into large crowds, into persons, into any art form. So we're going to start with David Wilcox.
Start with David Wilcox? Oh my goodness!
Oh wait, one thing before you start.
Go ahead, speak into the mic.
One thing. Okay, this is going to take a moment while he heartbeats us along. Along with our heartbeat of this music, our heartbeat of this year's CWA is the CWA App, which I hope you all have donated. We have a flyer up on the wall over there. And one of the most important aspects of our app this year is the ability to ask questions through it. So if anybody does not know how to go through this feature, go find the panel in the schedule, select the panel, and there should be the option to submit a live question. This is how we will be taking and fielding questions for this panel. If you absolutely cannot figure it out, Alexis in the back, our lovely producer, who I want to thank for joining us here today, if everybody can see her, she has note cards. And raise your hand if you need a note card for the old-fashioned way of writing questions. And then deliver those to this podium, and we will get to those toward the end of the panel. Thank you very much.
take a day or a week or two. But the trick of rhythm and words is to say the right words at the right time. And sometimes you feel the push of a word in your heart that you need to say. And you're late in that rhythm. Maybe the word is yes. Maybe the word is no. Maybe the word is I need more time. You can go.
Okay. Oh, you really set the mood now. I don't know how to talk. Okay. So we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about like music and rhythm and how like we use that to communicate, as David was kind of showing, and like how it's music is like the heartbeat. I don't know. So, sorry. In the music industry, kind of how I view rhythm is not just the physical playing of it, but how musicians communicate with one another. So when you're in a studio setting, we kind of use rhythm of the vibe that's going on. Is it a fast-paced song? Do we work fast-paced? Do we work slow? And kind of how the basis of music and how we have that is based on our heartbeat, as David was playing, and how music has evolved around that. So the reason why, like, when we hear certain rhythms, we experience emotional, like, effects to that is because music is biologically related. So in my personal opinion, I kind of view rhythm as the way of how we communicate with one another, not just through playing or like spoken words, but our daily interactions with one another. So that's what I say.
How are you guys feeling today? So the first thing I want to talk about rhythm is just how it can be united and totally different, right? So we're all in the same space. We're having the same experience. And I guarantee you that even though a lot of us talk or perform, we're experiencing this whole different rhythm inside of our bodies than you are. I mean, how many of you have your heart racing right now? Hands? Anybody? So we got a few. But I bet that people up here are experiencing more hearts racing, you know? And yet we share the same space. We're having the same dialogue, you know? And I think at these panels in the CWA, it's really important to break down and address that this is a discussion. We don't know facts that we're telling you guys. We're trying to tease out truths that we share together. Cool? So that's what I'm going to be talking about the whole time I'm up here, is how we share rhythm. Before I did that, I kind of wanted to read you a poem and ask someone to maybe add some rhythms to it. Cool? Is that cool? Anyone offer to help out? Yeah. Just do what you will. Cool. You and me sat down in the same state for the first time in years, in front of 2 glasses of bourbon. We were trying to figure out how to cross the 5 years and half a continent that had somehow managed to slip in between our bar stools. See, try as you might, you cannot be best friends from across the country. So we just told stories from when we still were. And the retellings had a rhythm like the rock of your old Mustang against the highway, and I realized that no matter how long you have been gone, home is wherever people know your stories. And one of my favorites, the bar door opens quiet, but the whole room turns anyway. Like we're letting their smoke out, letting too much sunshine in. We were a beer deep when a guitar man sat down in that furthest, most crooked corner of the dance floor, and I tell you, if he did not sing like an oak, he sang like a shipwreck. Bartender appeared behind me. She said, "Bourbon." It was not a question. And slowly, that ramshackle stage started to wail. Sounded like that guitar man had strung the whole bend of the Mississippi up the neck of that Gibson. We got 2 more and drank with that bartender. Her name was Mary Lee, but everybody called her Granny. I tell you, that woman was cast iron. I watched her slosh whiskey through her teeth like it was mouthwash, heard her hollering like a coven of cowbells when her great-grandson got up, hugging a harmonica between his lips like it was a wooden rod and he was a seizure. Boy blew harp like a rusted gear, like a wind chime built out of junkyard cars. I tell you, that night I heard the sound of a sail being ripped from the chest of a ship. This was the music of stranded survivors. These were the first people I had ever seen break while they danced. And just like that, the gap between our bar stools vanished. We sat arm to arm and Mark Twain the sounds of shipwreck and seizure. We Faulknered that chorus of old men who hummed tune like whistling indoor country crickets. We retold our favorite stories, taking turns as if we were somehow remembering them together. And there, in the magic of bar light, our friendship did not look so fragile, did not look as if it had been stretched thin across 2,000 miles. Instead, it was as if we two storytellers had somehow bent the ends of the interstate into all the distance between us looked like one long Mobius strip of highway, the last exit leading right back to that bar. And we were not adults who lived in different states. We were still just those kids about to push open that front door. Because home is wherever people know our stories. So when I talk about rhythm, what I actually mean is when suddenly you say something that just happens to be at the right time and line up with everything else that's happening. Because I really didn't even pick that poem on purpose. I'm not kidding, I didn't think about it saying rhythm, I didn't talk about having breakdancing or music or any of that. It's just like, oh, this one's next. And yet it seems to work. And that's really how I think rhythm is, when you find yourself doing the same thing naturally, because it's correct, because it makes sense. And I'm just going to pass it on down, because I've been talking for a long time now. Thank you so much. Bye.
Hi. Everything changes when you grab a mic. Suddenly you're like, what? I'm Helen de la Rosa. I'm from Dominican Republic. Who knows where that is? Be honest. Yeah, I'm proud of you guys. I'm gonna play a little bit for you. Basically what I'm gonna do is demonstrate how rhythm can make you feel tense, relaxed, or something in between, or something else. Rhythm is the one thing that we all relate to. Isn't it weird? Think about it. We're from different cultures, from a tropical country, speaking Spanish, from, I don't know, someone from here, someone from Europe, or anywhere. But rhythm is the one thing we all can relate to. If you know a song, the melody is important, the harmony is important, but if I play you the rhythm, you'll know what song it is. It's really cool. Okay, I'll demonstrate. Which song is it?
20th century
tense, relaxed, both. This is a very clear example of how rhythm really affects us. It's incredible. We just feel it. We all feel it. And that translates on our lives, how we speak. That's why poetry is so cool. When they like speaking like this, you're suddenly like, they like invite you in super slow. And then with a little bit more rhythm and faster, and you're like, whoa, whoa. That has impact. It translates something, it communicates something. You can say the same phrase, same words, same melody, in different rhythms, and suddenly it has a whole new meaning. I'm bored. This is not a good day. It has more effect because my rhythm is slow. And I'm like, meh. But if I'm like, I'm happy today. I'm really excited. You'll be really confused. You're like, what kind of happiness is that? Are you sure? So that's why rhythm is so important. This is not just us talking like, oh yeah, rhythm, but it's actually, doesn't matter if you're a musician or poet or anything, you're in it. You can't help it. Every day, with every choice you make, everything you say. Any questions? All right, so.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I love walking. I could walk, but I walk in tempo. It starts from me for you. Different than playing percussion. I think in rhythm, in tempo, as a composer, as a percussionist as well, this is for us. I mean, the same thing for Helen is our clock that we have, our heartbeat. We think not only we think as a percussionist. I mean, not only we think as a rhythm. I think as a musician, but I'm lucky to be a percussionist because it's the base. It's the source of music rhythm. So, sorry. Okay, because I'm going to play something that sorry. I apologize. Can you hear me now? So really, I mean, all my life is about rhythm. I wake up in the morning and sometimes I hear a bird or something like even drops of water. It makes it for me. I could hear things sometimes. I remember I was going from Bergerac by train to Bordeaux, and one lady was sitting, beside me. I could hear like a samba feel from the train sound. It was so, like inspiring. I couldn't bear it, I just like pick up my phone. I thought that she's going to think that this guy is crazy, and I had to record something with the train sound. So what I did, I took my phone and I made myself talking like on the phone. Yeah, I don't know. So in a few seconds, I felt like, am I Mr. Bean? Yeah. So really, I mean, many times, I mean, by the way, I mean, Rowan Atkinson, I'm a big fan of. He's a drummer, the guy. I'm not sure if you watch his video on YouTube playing drums with nothing. You should see this. He's an amazing comedian. He's a British comedian. You know Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, yes? Yeah, so he's amazing. He played like nothing, but he played a drum kit from nothing. Amazing. Anyway, yeah, you've seen it, I'm sure. So I'm going to demonstrate like some of the rhythms that we use in Lebanon. I'm from Lebanon. I play the darbuka. I've been playing since I was 3.5 years old, and I've been coming for the CWA for the last 13 years. Yeah, new boy, yeah. So I think I'm getting old here, huh? No, I'm still the same, actually. I still feel the same. So I'm going to demonstrate a little bit of my instrument, and perhaps later on we can do something with Helena. I want to challenge her. I just actually went, Helena, just like 5 minutes. Just like 5 minutes. Just like 5 minutes. Just like 5 minutes.